Hello, everybody. Today, I am going to tell you a story. Now, there was a time in the past when I lived in Hawaii. Now, it was nice. Hawaii is a great place. Great weather, beautiful beaches, palm trees, sunlight all year round, pretty consistent. I was there for work, and I came with a friend who was there for the same reason. Now, my friend and I, one day we were finishing a good round, and we're doing all sorts of things that day. We were really tired. It was the end of the day, and we were around each other a lot as coworkers. We were kind of exhausted. I was certainly tired. And I don't remember what it was, but I got really angry at him. Most of the time we had a lot of fun. It was like great. But I remember this day I just got so angry at him. I don't even remember what he did. It was probably something stupid, like he was like, I don't know, said something that just felt like really like it just pushed me the wrong way. Something, maybe he could have been being too nice to me, and I'm just like, look, man, okay, you're just trying to be the good guy here. I don't know. It was probably irrational, but I got so angry at him. At the time we didn't have a car, and so we were walking home. It was a good 20-25 minute walk in complete silence because I was so angry. In fact, I took like 10 steps in front of him so that like he knew that we were buddies. We weren't standing next to each other. I was that angry, right? And my friend, we'll call him Gators. Gators, he's poor guy. He was just the nicest fella, and he was just kind of a social puppy dog sometimes too. He loved being social. And so when I was standing in front of him walking away, and he just kind of got really sad, and he just walked behind me like this the rest of the way home. It was kind of heartbreaking, but I was just so angry. I didn't care. I was completely indifferent to his pain. So we walked home in complete silence for 25 minutes. Now, when we finally made it back to the place where me and Gators were staying, we were staying in more of like a kind of like a garage. There's like 3 rooms. There's the back room, which is the bathroom, and then you can go into the kitchen. And then there's an entryway in the kitchen, and then to the side there's like a bedroom where we slept. And I was very, very angry still. I walked into the house, and I immediately booked it to the bathroom because I needed to be alone for a little while. I was just that ticked. It was time for me to just take a little break and have some space. And so I get into the bathroom, and I close the door, and I kind of slide down onto the floor. Gotta take some breaths. I hear him outside, and since we were kind of living in the same place, we kind of had to divvy up some of the chores, and one of them was the dishes, and I heard him starting to do the dishes. And irrational and tired as I was that night, that made me even more angry. I was sitting there for a good like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just getting even more angry because now he's like trying to make it better by doing the dishes. I was just so... Oh, you're so good, Gators. You can just do the dishes and everything's all right. Man, it was like he was making excuses for his like being frustrating. It was terrible. So finally, after breathing and relaxing and staying calm, I thought to myself, I think I'm calm enough. If I'm quick, I can walk from the bathroom through the kitchen where he's doing the dishes and head straight to my bed where I can lay down and just go to sleep and just be done with it. And I can stay calm. I can do this. So that's what I do. I walk over the toilet and I flush it as if I am done using the privy. I go over and wash my hands. Make sure that it's like a very obvious, everything's good. This is a normal bathroom break. I didn't just sit there fuming for 15 minutes. I just had a really, really bad poop. I quickly gather my wits. I open the door and I walk through the kitchen into the bedroom. And then I see it. Right there, on my bed, on my pillow, there is a little bag of Swedish fish. I couldn't stay angry at him. That was the most gracious, kind, selfless action a man can take. I knew in my heart, because he'd spoken about it earlier, that he was looking forward to eating these Swedish fish. And yet he placed them on my bed, on my little pillow. It was like a little peace offering. So, like, without a more manly way of saying it, my heart melted. I couldn't be angry at him anymore. I was totally over it. We were fine from then on, you know? But, I mean, fine is one thing. But, you know, we're dudes, and call it toxic, call it whatever you want. I can't just walk up to him and say, hey, man, we're good, you know, and then slap him or whatever, right? You know, guys, we don't do that. That makes us uncomfortable. It's like we're having like this weird heart-to-heart thing, and he didn't want that. That'd make him more uncomfortable, and he just gave me such a gracious offering. I wasn't going to do that. So I had to think of a way to let him know that we were good. So I did the most logical thing that a man can do in that type of situation, to let the other man know that, you know, we're friends again. I went over to the Swedish fish. I climbed into bed. I pulled out the Swedish fish, and I started wrinkling the wrapper really, 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 really loud as he was doing the dishes in the bathroom. I take a Swedish fish, and I put it close to my mouth as I wrinkle, and I hear him turn off the sink, listening to the wrinkle. I hear the pitter-patter of his footsteps coming towards our room, and so I shove it in my mouth and I hide the Swedish fish. Now, Gators finally makes it to the doorway, and he pokes his head into the doorway. Kind of glares at me like this, suspicious-like. And I'm just sitting there like, as if nothing was happening, right? Of course, I got to keep it chill. And so he glares at me and then slowly pulls his head away from the door. Then I hear him pitter-patter back over to the sink where he continues to do the dishes. He turns on the sink and he keeps doing the dishes. So what do? I continue to crinkle. I crinkle my snack, and I slowly start eating another one, lifting it to my mouth. And you see, Gator's got smarter this time. This time he didn't turn off the sink. And so I didn't hear his pitter-patter as he walked towards the room and poked his head over in the corner again. Looked at me. And so I quickly just had the Swedish fish. Completely innocent. And I wish that I could like do the face that he made justice, because it was too good. It was too good, guys, okay? So he pokes his head around the corner. Obviously, he sees the Swedish fish this time. He was smart. He leaving the sink on. I had no idea he was coming. I wasn't ready for him. He turns his head around the corner, and he sees me. And he gets this angry face. He's angry, and he pouts, and he stomps away. And I hear him walk over to the sink. I turn the sink off, and he stomps over to the refrigerator. I hear the refrigerator opening and closing. I'm trying to decide if I should be wrinkling more. He's so melodramatic, Gators. It's a funny guy. And I hear him grab something, he closes the fridge door, and he stomps into the room. And he sits on his bed, and he stares at me. And he pops his drink open. It's a little soda. And he drinks it. And he just stares at me. Now, there are times in a man's life when he knows he's been beaten. Yeah, when he knows that his opponent has won. That there's nothing that he can do to hide the fact that he's accepted the peace offering of the Swedish fish. But this is not one of those times. I slowly, as he's staring at me drinking his soda, grab my blanket and pull it over my head. Once I'm safely concealed under my blanket, I start crackling again and eating the Swedish fish. I mean, I still like to imagine after his little display earlier, the indignant face that he makes while I'm hiding under my blanket. I can just see him. Maybe I'm funnier than I think I am, or not as funny as I think I am, but I just imagine him just getting so angry after I hide and start crinkling his peace offering again. So I don't see any of this, but as I am eating my Swedish fish, and of course the juicy, saliva, I don't know why he thought this was a good idea, but as he's taking a drink of his soda, he rips, he rips the blanket. He rips the blanket off of my body. Okay, now I am eating Swedish fish, right? And so I am so surprised that I choke on the Swedish fish. And I just flop off of the bed as I'm choking. Now I choke and I spit, and it's gross, all this ooey gooey red mush saliva that came from me, and to be loud and be dramatic about it. So I'm there's puking this red mush out of my face. And apparently the idea that I could be spitting my brains out right there and dying, or like I got stabbed or something, was hilarious to Gators, because he, in the middle of drinking his soda, he spits his whole mouth of soda all the way across the room. And it gets on everything. So I'm soaked with soda. My whole body is speckled. And there's this red mush on the ground. It looked like some sort of crazy murder scene. And that's where I'm going to end the story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, go ahead and like and subscribe below. Leave a comment if you liked it, and I'll make sure to release more content like this in the future.